Is itching to get onto the field for the Browns. The rookie quarterback currently sits third on the depth chart in Cleveland, but that has not dented his confidence at all. He says he'll be ready when the time comes. Take a listen.
You just got to be careful. Every little thing gets held against him. And it's not, most of it is not his fault. He seems to be a great kid. Obviously, he threw for over 4,000 yards last year at Colorado, completed over 72% of his passes. He was balling, okay? Give him credit where credit is due. And I think that even though he struggled in one preseason game and that left him at the QB3 spot behind Dylan Gabriel and, of course, Joe Flacco, do I think he has the potential to show up in the National Football League and to make some noise? Sure.
In a bold and impassioned statement, Stephen A. Smith has called out the Cleveland Browns, urging them to give Shedeur Sanders the opportunity to play. The veteran sports commentator didn't hold back, declaring that Sanders is more than ready to take the next step and make his mark in the NFL. "This kid is great," Stephen A. said, dismissing all the media controversy that surrounded Sanders. According to Smith, the young quarterback has shown an exceptional level of confidence, and it's clear that nothing will stand in his way. Sanders, with a staggering 7,000 yards and an impressive 72% completion rate, has done everything he can to prove himself. "It's time," Stephen A. says, "for the Browns to make the move and play this talented quarterback, as he is more than capable of succeeding at the next level."
Primarily is because I believe so much in his dad. I believe, I think that his pedigree, what his dad says about him, all of those things play a role because I think the man has the ability to evaluate and analyze football. Having said that,
Stephen A. Smith also highlighted Shedeur Sanders' pedigree as a major factor in his readiness for the NFL. With a father like Deion Sanders, an NFL legend and one of the most accomplished athletes to ever play the game, Stephen A. believes that Sanders has the perfect mentorship and foundation. Deion Sanders rates his son higher than anyone, and if that doesn't say something, I don't know what does, Smith emphasized. He pointed out that having someone like Deion, with his unparalleled experience and success, backing him up gives Sanders a level of preparation and insight that most players can only dream of. Stephen A., with his years of experience in analyzing talent, trusts that Sanders has all the right tools, mentally, physically, and strategically, to thrive at the next level. The combination of his father's legacy and Sanders' own abilities makes this kid a can't-miss prospect. Stephen A. Smith also took a moment to give Shedeur Sanders some important advice about the competitive nature of the NFL. He warned that making bold statements like claiming to be better than current NFL quarterbacks could backfire in a big way. "You're stepping into a league where the entire NFL will be coming after you," Stephen A. said, cautioning Sanders against overconfidence. "You can't make a statement like that and not expect the veterans and every single player in the league to have a target on your back." Smith made it clear that while confidence is important, the NFL is a different beast entirely, and it's a place where players will hold you to your word. The whole league will be gunning for you, and making statements like, "I'm better than these guys," is essentially giving them extra motivation to prove you wrong.
we just have to be mindful of what we say and what kind of position it puts ourselves in, because when it comes to him, he's going to be judged a little bit differently. And that last comment, look at how cats are performing in the league. Hell yeah, I could do better than that. Oh, really? Really? And you never know what's going to get thrown in your direction, because I've seen situations, and this is me covering basketball, I've seen situations, fellas, where players have been put in bad spots.
Stephen A. Smith also made it clear that he's seen firsthand how the NFL system can turn against players, even when they have the talent to succeed. He pointed out that it's not just the opposing players you have to worry about. Sometimes it's the coaches, the managers, and the entire establishment that can work together to undermine you. "I've seen situations where everyone from the front office to the coaching staff comes together to try and submerge a player who dares to stand out," Smith said, underscoring the challenges Sanders could face if he's not careful.
Bots, by coaches, by an organization, just to show them up.
Ryan Clark also weighed in, offering his own advice to Shedeur Sanders. While acknowledging that Sanders is undoubtedly performing at a high level, Clark warned the young quarterback to be careful about his words. Being Shedeur Sanders isn't just about talent, it's about carrying the weight of expectation, Clark said. He emphasized that Sanders' name alone brings immense responsibility and that every word and action would be under intense scrutiny. Clark pointed out that everyone will be watching, waiting for Sanders to make a mistake or falter, so every statement he makes will be used against him. In Clark's view, the world will look for any opportunity to criticize him because they don't want to see him succeed.
I haven't heard from Quinn Ewers this year. He's the third quarterback in Miami. I haven't heard from Dylan Gabriel, who's actually the number 2 in Cleveland. The thing about Shedeur Sanders is he also has to understand what comes along with being Shedeur Sanders. What is the microscope of being Shedeur Sanders? How everything that I say and do is going to be critiqued as to how prepared I am.
Cam Newton also joined the conversation, offering his perspective on Shedeur Sanders' situation. He declared that no matter how the league tries to present itself as fair and unbiased, Sanders will face a level of prejudice that goes beyond just his performance on the field. According to Newton, Sanders isn't just another player, he's a culturally relevant icon. This status, while powerful, will put a target on his back, and it's something that both the league and some teams may find uncomfortable.
Is going to be analyzed, microscoped, and really observed at a magnitude that
100%.
Dylan Gabriel is not, respectfully. He's third on his team's depth chart, but number 1 in jerseys. He's third in the depth chart, but he's the most popular player, relevant player, socially, culturally, on that team.
Okay.
Stephen A. Smith made it clear that the pressure on the Cleveland Browns is building with each passing day. As the situation in Cleveland intensified and the team's offensive struggles continued, Smith declared that Shedeur Sanders simply cannot be snubbed any longer. Looking at what's happening in Cleveland right now, you can't keep ignoring a talent like Sanders, he said. Smith believes that, given the mounting expectations and the team's need for a spark, the Browns will have no choice but to put Sanders in. The fan base, the media, and the situation on the field all point to the fact that Sanders has earned his shot.
So here's the question. Taking all of that into consideration, that's why we know we're going to see him, because we know that pressure is mounting. The more inept they are offensively, the less of an excuse you're going to have to submerge him.
Smith emphasized that, whether the Browns are ready or not, the time for them to make a change is now. Sanders' performance and potential can no longer be overlooked, and it's clear that he is more than capable of stepping into the role and making an impact immediately. Ryan Clark went all in supporting Shedeur Sanders, emphasizing that Sanders is not just another player. He's a man with a massive following and a cultural influence. Clark noted that Sanders fans look up to him not only for his talent, but for his unwavering confidence. They want him to be that same guy, the confident leader who believes in himself, Clark said. He made it clear that there's absolutely nothing wrong with Sanders declaring that he's ready to play in the NFL. Sanders' confidence is part of what makes him stand out and what drives his supporters. However, Clark also reminded Sanders that while his confidence is admirable, the NFL is a different environment, one that doesn't always embrace that kind of boldness.
But nothing's wrong with what he said in the beginning.
Yeah.
That if I get an opportunity to play, I'm ready to play. And I know, like, the people who love Shedeur and are his fans and support him want him to continue to be him, right? Because they don't want to feel like the NFL humbled him or that there was some level of collusion so Shedeur Sanders couldn't be himself, couldn't have his bravado, couldn't have his confidence. But you also got to understand, man, and especially in this world, sometimes you just got to play the game.
Shedeur Sanders is not just fighting for a spot in the NFL. He's fighting against a system that has historically been resistant to change. In a league that has often favored traditional paths and expectations, Sanders represents something different, something disruptive. With the legacy of his father, Deion Sanders, and his undeniable talent, Shedeur is challenging the status quo, and the league is taking notice. Every step he takes is scrutinized, and every word he speaks is dissected. But through it all, Sanders has maintained his belief in himself and his to perform at the highest level. Stephen A. Smith has been one of the loudest voices supporting Shedeur, and he's made it clear that the Cleveland Browns can no longer ignore him. The pressure is mounting, Stephen A. declared, emphasizing that the team's struggles on offense have reached a tipping point. With Sanders' impressive record, it's clear that the Browns will have to put him in. They can no longer afford to hold him back. The league may not always embrace Sanders' confidence, and the narrative may continue to be shaped by doubters. But as the pressure mounts, it's becoming increasingly clear that Shedeur Sanders is ready. The system may try to hold him down, but Sanders is fighting back. Whether it's the NFL's resistance to his boldness or the media's attempts to undermine his character, he continues to push forward with determination. The world is watching, and Shedeur knows that every move counts. The only question left is, will the Cleveland Browns finally recognize his potential and give him the opportunity he has more than earned? Stephen A. Smith believes it's time. The league's resistance can only last so long. Now we want to hear from you. Do you believe that Shedeur Sanders is being held back by the system? Or is he really ready for the NFL, as Stephen A. Smith says? With the Browns' offense struggling, should they finally give Sanders the chance to prove himself? Is he fighting against an unfair system? Or is the pressure simply part of the game? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. We'd love to hear your perspective on this whole situation and what you think Shedeur's future holds.